All right, buckle up, folks, because we are diving headfirst into one of the most intense rivalries you can find anywhere in football, maybe even all of sports.
I think you're right about that.
The North London Derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham Hotspur, is always a clash of the titans.
It is.
And as always, we here at Tipsmodo have been breaking down all the data and all the stats to help you understand not just what's likely to happen, but really how to think like a football expert.
Exactly, and that's the goal, right?
That's the goal. We want people to be able to impress their friends with their insight.
For sure. And maybe win some money, too.
Exactly, because it's not just about bragging rights.
That's right.
It's also about, maybe being able to make some smart bets using the information that we provide here at Tipsmodo.
Absolutely, absolutely. Responsible gaming, of course.
Of course, of course. But, if you can use the information to your advantage, then why not? So let's start with the basics. What's interesting about this particular match is that both teams are coming in with some mixed results recently. Arsenal, they've been absolutely dominant at home.
Yeah, unbeaten at the Emirates.
Unbeaten at Emirates Stadium in the Premier League this season, which is pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
But then they have those cup exits, those disappointing cup exits, specifically that FA Cup loss against Manchester United.
Yeah, which is a bit of a head-scratcher.
It is.
You'd think a team that is so solid at home would be able to carry that form into the cup competitions, but it happens.
It happens.
It happens. Cup competitions are a different beast.
They are. They are. And then you look at Tottenham, who are actually in a similar boat.
Right.
They barely scraped Guy in the FA Cup.
Yeah, against a lower league opposition.
Right.
Not very convincing.
Not convincing at all. But then you look at their league form, especially away from home.
A completely different story.
Yeah.
Bottom half of the table, really poor away form.
And, so we're looking at two teams that, on paper, should be fairly evenly matched, but the recent performances just throw some real curveballs in the mix. And that's what makes it so interesting.
It does. It makes it hard to predict, right?
Absolutely. Now, let's get into the numbers.
Let's do it.
And this is where Tipsmodo, our supercomputer, really shines, right?
That's where we shine.
This is where we shine. So one of the things that immediately jumps out is Arsenal's home defense. Like I said, they're unbeaten at Emirates Stadium in the league this season.
They are.
And they've kept clean sheets in all 4 of their last home league matches, which is pretty remarkable.
It is. It's a testament to their defensive organization, the way they work as a unit.
Yeah.
That high press that we always talk about.
That high press.
It's really effective.
Yeah.
They're forcing errors from the opposition, and it's leading to those clean sheets.
It is. Now, on the flip side, Tottenham, we've got to mention this stat because it's pretty significant.
Go for it. 25.
25. Consecutive away Premier League games against Arsenal where they've conceded a goal.
It's a crazy stat.
It's a crazy stat.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
It is.
Especially considering the quality that Tottenham have in attack.
You would think at some point they would have been able to keep a clean sheet at the Emirates, but it just hasn't happened.
It hasn't. And, that has to be playing on their minds. It's got to be a psychological factor when they step onto that pitch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you combine that stat with Tottenham's recent away form in general, they've only gotten 1 point from their last 12 available on the road in the league.
Yeah, not good.
It's not good. It paints a picture that maybe is leaning towards Arsenal having the advantage in this match. But as you always say, you can't underestimate the unpredictable nature of a derby.
You can't. And, stats are just one part of the equation. You can look at stats, you can analyze them. But when it comes to a derby, emotions run high. There's that extra layer of intensity, of passion, form goes out the window. It's all about who wants it more on the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that said, let's dive into the predicted lineups. And again, this is where our Tipsmodo supercomputer really comes in handy.
It does. It helps us sift through all the noise, all the speculation, all the rumors, and try to come up with the most likely starting 11 for both sides.
Exactly. So for Arsenal, the key player that we're really looking at, of course, is Martin Ødegaard.
The captain, the maestro.
The maestro, the creative force in that midfield. He's likely to be the one pulling the strings, creating chances, and potentially even getting on the score sheet himself.
Absolutely. And we know he loves to score in big games.
He does.
So that's definitely something to watch out for.
For sure. And then for Tottenham, you can't talk about their attack without mentioning Son Heung-min.
The speedster, the finisher.
Absolutely. That pace is just electrifying.
Yeah.
And if you get space to run at the Arsenal defense, they could be in big trouble. big trouble. And we've seen him score some spectacular goals against Arsenal in the past.
We have.
So he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Now, of course, these are just predictions, and managers love to throw in a surprise or two. So, take these lineups with a grain of salt.
Yeah, they're not set in stone. There could be a late injury, a tactical change. You never know.
Exactly. All right, so we've looked at the form, we've analyzed the stats, we've talked about the predicted lineups.
We have.
Now, the moment of truth.
The big reveal.
The big reveal. What is Tips Moto predicting for this match?
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
We are predicting a 1-0 win for Arsenal.
So a tight affair.
A very tight affair. We think it's going to be a cagey, tactical battle, probably decided by a single moment of brilliance, a moment of magic, or maybe even a costly mistake from one of the sides.
Right. But when we weigh all the factors, Arsenal's home dominance, Tottenham's defensive frailties, especially on the road, it just tips the scales slightly in favor of Arsenal.
Slightly, but again, it's a derby.
It's a derby. Anything can happen. Tottenham could come out with a point to prove.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Okay, so for all you betting enthusiasts out there, you're probably wondering, what are the smart bets to make in this match? Well, we've got some ideas for you.
We do.
And these are based on our analysis, our insights, our understanding of the game.
And the data, of course.
And the data, the Tips Moto supercomputer data. So one bet that we're particularly intrigued by is under 2.5 goals.
Interesting.
Now, why do we say that? Well, both teams had tough, physically demanding FA Cup matches very recently.
They did.
So fatigue could be a factor.
Could be.
And that might lead to a more cautious tactical battle, not a free-flowing goal fest kind of game.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Another bet that we like is anytime goal scorer, Martin Ødegaard.
Oh, I like that one.
As we mentioned, he's the heart of Arsenal's attack. He's involved in pretty much everything they do going forward. And we wouldn't be surprised to see him on the score sheet in this one.
Yeah. He loves the big occasion.
He does.
He always seems to step up in these big games.
Absolutely. And then for those of you who are feeling a little bit bolder, a little bit more adventurous, how about first half? Arsenal to win.
Okay.
Now, the logic here is we're expecting Arsenal to come out strong, to use that home crowd to their advantage, and to really try to put Tottenham on the back foot early.
Yeah, try to grab an early lead and then maybe sit back and defend.
Exactly. Exactly. So those are just a few ideas to get you started, to get those betting juices flowing.
Just a taste.
But if you really want to up your betting game, you know where to go.
Tips Moto, of course.
Tips Moto, of course. Head over to our social media pages. We're talking Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, we're there.
We are everywhere.
We're everywhere. And we're constantly sharing insights, tips, predictions that you won't find anywhere else. So do yourselves a favor, follow us, join the Tips Moto community, and who knows?
Maybe you'll be celebrating a big win.
Maybe you'll be celebrating a big win thanks to our expert advice. All right, that's it for our deep dive into the North London Derby.
Enjoy the match, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
And good luck with your bets.
Cheers.
Cheers.